Kanaria jua kali kuna sheng ya kali lakini si wote tunaelewa.
Aya sana, kwanza ndo national anthem ya kila siku.
Language grows at every tick of the clock.
Sheng inafaa hata ikue kwa curriculum.
If we do not take control of Sheng, Sheng will take control of the education sector.
Language is the system of communication by a particular community or country. Kenya stands out as one of the countries where over 40 languages are spoken. This is owing to the fact that it has 42 tribes. Each of these tribes has their own language, what is popularly referred to as mother tongue. However, the state has English and Swahili as the national languages. This is to ensure that all citizens are able to communicate with each other with ease. Nevertheless, there is a new language that is quickly emerging in Kenya, especially among the youth. Sheng is the name they call it.
Sheng is as a result of the borrowings that happen in a language, and in this instance we are referring to English and Kiswahili. Apparently other local languages have also contributed, they have been the key contributors to the build-up of this Sheng, and much hasn't been done yet, though a number has been attained in terms of producing some literature, because a dictionary has been produced in this kind of category. And in the same capacity, we also have a radio station that seems to be kind of focusing, or they purport to be spearheading this kind of language. They use it in the station. It's a language that youth would prefer to use it, and many alikes, yeah, for sure.
Sheng is a hybrid language that has been developed from a combination of English, Swahili, and mother tongue languages. Its origin can be traced back to city slum areas. It is a language that majority of the youth are able to relate to and efficiently communicate in with their peers.
Home ni Dandora, phase 2.
Sasa unaongeanga Sheng?
Aya sana, kwanza ndo national anthem ya kila siku.
Ulianzaje kuongea Sheng?
Sasa hapo sijelezea juu nilizaliwa tu nikajipata kwa hiyo mtaa sio na bonga Sheng, and everything ilikuwa Sheng tu kwa life.
Na unaweza acha kuongea Sheng?
Itakuwa lazima iko tu nikiprocess tu, yani si kitu rahisi vile, ni process. Nika tu ki mother tongue hivi, saa kuacha mother tongue it's hard.
Unakuta most of the population mostly urban areas ni unakuta watu wametoka mita ama wametoka maocha tofauti, acha niseme maocha tofauti. Wakikuja most of the times people hawaelewi lugha kina nani, but kuna vile wanaweza integrate. Unakuta most of watu hawezi bonga Kiswahili fluent na hawezi bonga English pia fluent, so kuintegrate ni kitu poa, ni kitu ya maana.
The use of this language differs from one residential area to the other. A difference is also noted between the Sheng spoken in urban areas and that in rural areas. It's so obvious, anyone will want to find out why Kenyans developed Sheng when there are all these languages.
Sheng hasn't really done much, so to say. In as much as the government and the new constitution in ACAP 24, when they are allocating on language policy, they say that every language is accorded a right to growth, especially the Asmara Declaration. Looking at where Sheng has come from, it's a kind of a cosmopolitan language growth that emanated from Nairobi. There are various kinds of Sheng that I really can't touch on basis, but just to mention, since we're in Nairobi, Nairobi has got its own Sheng. In various parts of Nairobi, they speak different kinds of Sheng. Go back to those rural places in the rural areas. When they experience this rural-urban migration, when they come here, those youths meet a different Sheng, the one being spoken here in the city, unlike the one spoken back at their rural places. So that kind of shift and the kind of blend that we have in this language hasn't given it a touch base for a formality ground for it to take place. So still, I would echo myself having said that we have attained some grounds by putting up some literature on it, the likes of a dictionary, and we are still looking forward with hope as it grows by researchers will come in and either liquidify the essence of this language in an academic village.
On the overall, people are able to quickly find meanings of new Sheng words they come across. This is a major factor that has influenced the use of this language by the not-so-younger generations, the likes of politicians.
Saseni, mimi naitwa Rafael Tuju, ama Rafo mkipenda. Natangaza kuvaa hii siti ya uprezo hapa Kenya. Najitolea kuwa prezo juu nataka kutoa hii nchi yetu kwa siasa za tene na za ukabila. Kabila langu ni Mkenya. Na understand challenges za kuwa mtoi mless na wazazi wasio masonko na kusaka job bila makone na wasee wa bigi wa kunitetea.
All this is in a bid toward the younger generation. When Sheng emerged in the 1980s, few people thought it would prevail. But 34 years along the line, Sheng is still going strong. It is a language that has almost become our second mother tongue. Its wide usage is seen in advertisements, newspapers, transport, and the music industries. Apart from bringing the younger generation together, the use of this language is highly appreciated by the youth.
Kenya naweza sema Sheng inafaa hata ikue kwa curriculum because wase wengi wanabonga hiyo na hiyo ile Kiswahili sanifu ile watu wanataka waseme hawezi sema. Sasa mimi naona hii Sheng ikiwekwa wase watakuwa wakicommunicate poa kabisa.
Kwa hivyo include kwa education curriculum.
Mpaka hata wazae washaina dia saa kila mse ni Sheng, everything ni Sheng, hata maleko wengine ni Sheng, unajua
kushika.
Vile unaongea Sheng imeshai affect vile uko una perform shule ama vile unaje express na English, proper English ama Kiswahili?
Ime happen kitu kama Kiswahili high school. Kabla tu get hizo mavitu jo ilikuanga mbobia tunajua. Yaani ilikuwa kuget hizo vitu sanifu hizo maneno zingine hujaisikia kwa level yako na kwa too hard to get hivyo sasa.
This is irrespective of the social differences that exist between them. For instance, those in universities tend to use Sheng words that have been coined from English, while the youth in estates mostly use that from Swahili and mother tongue. As the use of Sheng grows, so does the criticism. It has been accorded praise and criticism in equal measure.
There are no structures whatsoever.
How do we bring Sheng to class? If not so, how do we keep Sheng alive? Because language never dies. Instead, it gains new forms, it gains new texture in usage. And basically, what I would say is it's high time in the education sector people to be notified on these forms. Maybe a clear-cut difference in pedagogy when to use and when not to use Sheng. Because it is out of these mix and balances or checks and balances that it tends to intrude into the education sector. Well, Sheng will survive test of time because even English has got an history to tell. If you look at the Middlesex English, the English that was spoken by the Queen's language, it was dying. They say Latin was language given by God, therefore they would rather suffice to maintain Latin than maintain English. English went to the hoods, and little did they know, it is out of those caricature of mix and match that English has stood test of time and has grown over time. And it is still growing. But I wouldn't want to compare Sheng on that line because it's this is a domestic lingua franca of the home and only best known to the users.
Some of its frequent users have been noted to perform poorly in subjects that require expression of ideas through writing, for instance, composition. The Kenyan curriculum is offered in English. Some students who have grown in areas where a lot of Sheng is spoken are seen to have a hard time with their studies. Teachers can attest to this.
The performance goes down. The language is going down. 5 years ago in KCPE, people used to have Kiswahili as the easiest subject. Today it is the most difficult because of the corrupted language from Sheng.
Most of our learners today, especially university students, this is a very serious key language degradation aspect when you talk about sheng. They tend to cross-cultural interfere in their writing skills when they borrow words from this field to induce in their repertoire of writing.
As much as linguists appreciate growth in the language that sheng has brought, there are some concerns.
If we do not take control of sheng will take control of the education sector, which will be a language which is not official but which is really affecting. So my advice would be the government should come up with a commission, form a commission. They investigate about issues about sheng, and they come up with a curriculum which will be acceptable to all the communities.
It's a growing language. I'd like to echo whatever is happening in that field. All I'm looking forward with hope is the near future researchers would come up with, elucidate some kind of vivid structures for them to put this language into practice. Because it has got form. Yes, it is verbalized, but the textuality bit of it, it has got some technicality, especially from people coming from various parts of Nairobi and I can say the upper country.
With each passing day, so does the growth of sheng. This language has even been documented in what is referred to as a sheng dictionary. This is a clear indication that it's not being phased out anytime soon.
Sezi sa watu wangu wa Nakuru, watu wa nguvu. Sheng ya Kisumu ni noma sana. Sheng ya Mombasa, mambo mbaya. Sheng ya Thika, noma sana. Au sio, au ndio. Tugenge ajayo, Kanaria, jua kali.